So many amazing products come from pigs. Bacon, copa, pork chops, and the list goes on. For these reasons and more, I'm bringing the Gloucestershire Old Spot pigs back to the homestead this season. In a recent video, I talked about the successes and failures that I've had with pasturing pigs and why I've decided to try doing a deep litter system with them this year. There's a link in the video description down below to that video in case you missed it. In that video, I started the process of building a deep litter pen for the pigs, but I didn't get to finish. I wanted to get a little bit closer to completion since the pigs were coming soon. I got 2.5 cubic yards of wood chips loaded in the bed of my pickup truck and then added them to the ground in the pen. I really thought 2.5 yards would get me a little bit deeper of a bed, but it was rather shallow. I'll definitely have to get another load. After getting the chips in, we added ENT conduit to form the roof trusses. These definitely won't support a snow load, so I'll take the tarp down that we'll use for the roof off for the winter. Though we did make a lot of progress with the new shelter, it wasn't quite ready in time for the pigs. I decided it would be best to first get the pigs into the normal receiving corral that I usually use, and then I'd have the opportunity to train them to electric fencing, and then I could, if I wanted, at that point, to use them to build a new garden bed because they would be trained to the electric fence. I got the corral set up with electric fencing and the water barrel. Now it was just time to wait for the pigs to arrive.
So prior to last year, I had not had any experience with pigs, although I've heard a lot about them and I've always been pretty fascinated by them. Training them to the electric fence and watching them learn their boundaries with it and show respect for it was cool to me. We had the girl pig that was more aggressive and she bossed the other pig around, and when we got in the pen, like, she wanted us to know that we were in her space, versus the boy who was just really mellow all the time. With this year, it'll be fun to see how these pigs develop.
Let's see the pigs?
Yeah.
Be here any minute now.
What color do you think they'll be? White or black.
Pigs are coming. Are you excited?
Yeah.
What's with the headband there, or the bandana?
I don't know, dude. I just like them with my head.
There's a lot of excitement in getting pigs again. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different this year.
Here come the pigs.
They're both black.
They're both black?
Yeah.
When I saw the pigs for the first time, I was really surprised just how big they were.
I got the pigs from you this year sight unseen.
Normally it's not best practice to buy livestock sight unseen, but in this case, because I had bought pigs from Jennifer before and worked with her on videos before, I know that she's not gonna give me a bad pig by any means.
Just because it just didn't work out for me to get over there this year, but can you tell us about them real quick?
Yeah, so these are Gloucestershire Old Spots, and they're from my, not the same mother that you've had from last year, but Lucinda, who is a younger one that I have. And they're a little over 4 months old, so they're pretty big.
Getting them now as late or as old as they are is my fault because Jennifer wanted to get them to me a few weeks ago, but I had my trip coming up to Justin Rhodes' homestead.
Last time the pigs were a lot smaller. This time when she opened the door and we saw how big they were, I was a little taken back because I expected like the cute little pigs, and these guys already looked pretty huge.
Because of their size and their desire to stay in that trailer, we didn't have the easiest time getting the pigs out.
They did not want to come out of the trailer. We got one out, and then the girl who was left behind, she was adamant that she was staying in the trailer and she was screaming. She was so angry and so upset that we were making her do what we wanted. as soon as she hit the ground and the grass and saw the other pig in the pen eating, she was just like completely chill, like, okay, this is my new home.
There we go. See, it's okay.
Now that that's over.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
The last 2 times that I brought pigs onto the homestead, they would immediately challenge the fence, which was good because then I could see how they reacted. Were they gonna run into the fence and tear it down? Were they gonna run away from the fence? Once I got that baseline established, I could adjust accordingly. These pigs this year though, went nowhere near the fence. They did not challenge it at all. This left me a little concerned with just leaving them because I didn't know, are they gonna challenge the fence when I'm not there and get caught in it, tear it up, whatever. Jennifer, the pig breeder, she recommended that we move the electric fence to the perimeter of the corral, so it was pretty close to the cattle panels. This would make it less likely that the pigs would want to run forward through the fence, thus tearing down the electric fencing. After waiting as long as I could to see if the pigs were gonna challenge the fence at all, I finally had to give up because it was time to go to Dan's partner's house for dinner. It was dark outside when little buddy and I returned. I did check on the pigs, the fencing was still intact and they were sleeping soundly. Later that night though, a big windstorm came through the area and we lost electricity. The electric fence for the pigs runs on a battery, so that wasn't an issue, but my heat lamp in the chick brooder definitely does not run on battery. It went out. With no heat lamps for the chicks and it being a chilly night, I had no choice but to bring them indoors to keep them warm.
What do you think of the chicks, little buddy?
They're cute, but the only downside to it is that when they grow, they'll start to get ugly, which is sad.
Did they wake you up at all this morning?
No, not really.
They woke me up at like 5 o'clock in the morning with all their chirping.
Sometime overnight though, I don't know if it was provoked by the windstorm or something else, but the pigs decided to challenge the fence. And it looked like the fence lost that fight. It was pretty tore up. After a couple days in the house, the chicks were getting a little bit on the stinky side, so it was time to get them back out into the chick brooder. The electricity was back on, therefore the heat lamps were back on, so there's no reason why they couldn't return to the brooder. I'm also happy to report that since the filming of my video of getting the chicks, I've only lost 1 more chick. They seem to have stabilized by now, and I haven't lost any more chicks in the last week.
Ooh, storm's coming in. We haven't had any more issues with the pigs regarding the fencing. They have not messed with it at all. They seem to be respecting it now. Everything has been going pretty well. Why aren't you guys eating? Your pigs. Go eat. What, you don't like the rain?
I added that sheet over the chicken brooder to help retain heat because, as you know, it's been a little bit chillier the last few days, so hopefully it's been working. We peel the layer back and reveal our chicks.
Or which would you go? This way?
However. Everybody good?
Nobody's dead.
Alright.
Hi, chickies!
With the chicks taken care of, it was time to get back to working on the new pig shelter. The dimensions of this pig core is 16 by 8, but the metal conduit that I bended to create the rafters for the roof, the tarp, that conduit is 10 feet long. So we needed a tarp that was 16 by 10. However, I could only find a tarp that was 16 by 12. I wanted the tarp to come down to here, not all the way down here. We want to leave this open for ventilation. But because our tarp's too long, it's covering it.
So my idea is we should treat this like a rain fly on a tent and string it to stakes in the ground so it'll come out more like this to allow airflow through, and also that'll give us a better, you know what I mean. So the rain will fall further away from the shelter and avoid getting everything wet. So we just finished tying and staking the tarp down. I am now calling this the pig tent because it completely looks like a tent on the outside. And thanks to my assistant Adele, who did the knot tying for the rope, I think it'll work for this year.
This is a cool little shelter. I'm liking the way this came out.
Cool little shelter, right?
Yes, you look very dry in there.
What do you think of that shelter?
Pretty nice.
Yeah? Chickens getting out of the rain, going under the trailer.
Everything seems to be going really well. The fencing is working, the pigs respect it, we haven't had any issues, but we really need to make sure they're trained to the water, since this will be their main source for the rest of their time in here. So Dan's done a little bit of training with them on the nipple, but just in case, we're gonna use some peanut butter on there, and we haven't fed them yet, so they're really hungry. They might eat me. We'll put some peanut butter on there and see if that attracts them to the water. Okay, let's do it this way. Piggy, come here. Hey, dude, look, come up this. You like that? Right here. He's not interested in the peanut butter at all. I don't blame you. A pig after my own heart. Come on. Hey. They hate peanut butter as much as I do. Oh, hi, come here, look, smell that. Mmm, do you like that? I can't stick this back in the container now that you
Yeah, you can.
it.
It's just,
Come on.
this is
Right
all I
there.
use it for.
Okay, let me do some actual, ow. Hey, Piggy, Piggy. Look. Ooh, what's that? Right up here, come here. Right here. Oh, peanut butter. Ah! Ah! Oh, no.
I've been making sure that they have water in their... Hey, not a scratching post. Not okay. Good gravy.
Disgusting.
I've been making sure they have water in their bowl here, just in case they haven't figured out the water barrel yet. So they're probably not that thirsty. Training wasn't so successful. I think they're just hungry and ready to eat, so I'm gonna feed them.
You're so gross.
Hey, you know what smells worse than wet dog?
What, pig?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really happy to tell you guys that everything's been going great with the pigs so far. They're really living up to their breed trait of being docile and super chill. Be sure to check back real soon because we're just getting started this season. We have more videos coming, more new animals coming. But in the meantime, you have this video right here that YouTube has picked for you. They custom selected it based on your viewing preferences. YouTube says you're gonna like this video, so go ahead and click on it and see if they're right. We'll see you guys next time.